Good evening, everyone. Today we are holding a very important discussion on the escalating situation in Lebanon. And for that, I have with me our esteemed guest, Ambassador Shashank, who is the former Foreign Secretary of India. With his extensive experience in international diplomacy and foreign relations, we look forward to hearing his perspectives regarding the conflict, the implications for regional stability, and what could be the pathways towards peace. Welcome, Ambassador Shashank, to this discussion. I
Yes.
want to begin by asking you, sir. Northern Command Chief Major General Ori Gordon mentioned that IDF must be strongly prepared for potential Lebanon ground operation. What are the risks of a full-scale war breaking out between Israel and Hezbollah?
At present, it seems that Israel is ready to take on the Hezbollah frontally, and they are preparing for a ground assault. It seems. It also appears that the Iran is also preparing for a ground assault through northern Lebanon, and whether directly or through its proxies, that one does not know. But what we are finding is that the US and the NATO allies have requested Israel to work for a 20 days or 21 days ceasefire, so that an opportunity can be tried for peace in the region. On the other hand, China has also had discussions with the Iranians, either to restrain them or perhaps to support them in case the war really spreads out further. So therefore, right now we are finding that it's so difficult to predict what will be the course of action, because Israel, after having suffered the surprise of 7 October last year is from Hamas, feels that, well, it was perhaps a joint operation, Hamas from one side and then the Hezbollah from the other side. And therefore, since they were not able to get all the precise intelligence information, therefore they have been trying to take a very wide-ranging action, first by missiles and now by ground assault. So it's a question of the Israel's fear from Hamas and Hezbollah from their joint operation, and secondly the continued support which they expect, Israelis expect, from the Americans and their other friends in the NATO. So they want to see whether they would be willing to go along with them with their their battle for survival.
Ambassador, Hezbollah's capabilities are also being seen increasingly. Like yesterday, we saw that Hezbollah launched a ballistic missile. It's an advanced weapon at Mossad's headquarters near Tel Aviv. What are the consequences of all of this to Israelis' domestic security? And also, if you can just talk a little bit about the public sentiment inside Israel, because at one side we have hostages still held captive by Hamas, and then at the side we have a warlike situation with Hezbollah.
Yes, as far as the hostages issue is concerned, that has great amount of significance for the Israeli people, and they want a nuanced approach so that the hostages can be released as soon as possible, and some kind of an arrangement should be worked out by Israel's backers in this regard. And they're quite willing to go for various conferences for peace, directly or indirectly. As far as Hezbollah is concerned, I don't see there is any such thing at this moment, because Hezbollah has shown their capability to attack Israel, even sometimes surprising the Israeli Iron Dome. Therefore, Israel is very concerned that must go all out to cause decimation of the Hezbollah capabilities and support which they have among the Lebanese people.
So, Ambassador, in this tense situation, which seems to be only escalating further, because just now we had a breaking where Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said that we need to go full force even after US and European Union called for a 21-day ceasefire. What do you think? What can be the diplomatic channels that can be explored by the Israeli government? And also, just an extension to this question, what do you think? What role can India play in preventing an all-out war in the region?
No, point is that Israel considers this as a battle of its survival. So therefore it is not going to give any immediate backing for the peace plans being talked about. But what we have to see is that can America or the European Union give some guarantees to the Israelis that they would be able to hold off further action, surprise action from the Hamas or the Hezbollah side. And it does not appear that they have direct connections either to the backers of Hamas or the backers of Hezbollah. So one is going about the whole thing in a very indirect manner, and so one does not know what are the chances. In the meantime, India has said India started from on the basis that well, we have been traditional supporters of the Palestinian people, and also we want peace in West Asia. We have always asked for it. We have also been talking about terrorism against Israel, and which should be condemned. We feel that any country has a right to take action against terrorist action. So therefore, India would be acceptable to some extent. I won't say that to completely, but to a certain extent on both sides. If we are willing to, but they should be willing to work out a peace agreement. So it's on the same basis as between Ukraine and Russia, where initially there was some thought that India might be coming under pressure from Russia as being an old friend. But then India said, look, for peace and they are stop relationship with Russia, which is of great importance to the Indian security and India's strategic interests. But at the same time, India feels that Ukraine also has a point, and if their Ukrainian people want peace, then India should be willing to go ahead and be prepared to pass on any messages and any red lines with etc. They can have some kind of an agreement and mutual adjustment from both sides. We have not seen that happening, but anyway, I think at least we have to keep trying.
Ambassador, the tensions are there between Hezbollah and Israeli side, but we know that Iranians also have their backing to Hezbollah. What do you think if there is a war which triggers between Israel and Hezbollah? What is the possibility of an Iranian involvement? Because if Iran involves itself in the war, which we know that it's backing the Hezbollah militia with the help of their advanced military weapons, but if it involves, do you think that there'll be very bad implications and consequences of it in the region for West Asia?
Well, right now, what the powers are trying to do is to ensure that somehow they can reach some kind of a peace agreement or ceasefire on the side of Hamas and Hezbollah. So therefore, the question of Iranian involvement in a bigger way would not arise. But the point is that Iran knows that in case after the American elections, there is a change of government, then they will come under greater pressure from a Republican administration. And therefore, Iran feels that if there is a possibility of some kind of a peace settlement at this stage, ceasefire, they should try to grab that at the moment. So I think chances for peace, chances for ceasefire should be there right now in the next few weeks, whether between Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah, or whether between Russia and Ukraine. So India is hopeful that one would like to take an action, and President Biden would like to go down in history as a man who proposed peace rather than who continued the war without any kind of deadline or without any kind of timeline for how to achieve peace in the regions.
Just last question to you, Ambassador. There is increasing civilian casualties in Lebanon due to Israeli airstrikes, and one cannot deny this. There is no two ways about it. How do you think that this will impact Hezbollah's standing among Lebanese population, and do you think that will be able to maintain support amid this increasing pressure?
It's really very sad that people are losing lives, and senselessly. Israel has brought out certain pictures showing that the Hezbollah were really using the civilian centers for their missile launches, and therefore you are quite right that the Hezbollah might lose some support among the Lebanese people, but in the meantime Lebanese people will continue to suffer a lot of damages, a lot of casualties. So that is the kind of fate, or this is the destiny which people in the Middle East have faced for a long time, that war has not left them while they all want peace. But there are always some organizations which come forward to protect their interests. But actually, rather than protecting their interests, it's the other way around. They lead to a war-like situation and casualties and death all around.